Hello guys, this is Chris with Hot Tub Repair and Review. I also own NorCal Spas. We specialize in new and refurbished hot tubs. And today I want to do our review on actually this is a Caldera Vanto. Up until a few years ago, Caldera Vanto, Hot Springs, Rythym were identical spas. They looked the same. One said Caldera, one said Hot Springs. I think they've slightly changed the look of the Hot Springs Limelight series. And so aside from maybe different siding, different look, everything's virtually going to be the same. You're going to have the same seating preference, the same pump, same heating system. So if people want to know what the difference between a Caldera and a Hot Springs is, there's not much, especially on the Limelight or their entry-level Caldera series. Now this is, most companies are doing a 3-tier system. So entry, middle, high. This is an entry-level spa, but I will tell you, and this is my honest, unbiased opinion, I think that Hot Springs, Caldera, Watkins Manufacturing, even though it's their entry level, I do consider them more superior than other brands that do, the same tier system. I think that they're probably fit in there with some of the middle to high tier brands and other lines. So I want to do a nice review, let somebody know what they're looking at buying. The reason why I say it's unbiased is because we are not a Hot Springs Caldera dealer, although we probably know more about them than most of the dealers. We work on these spas a lot. We buy a lot of them. We sell a lot of them. Now we got this hot tub in. This is a 2018. Okay, this came out of the beautiful Bay Area. And I will tell you, they've been making these types of spas. They're Limelight, the entry-level Calderas. They've been making these for 20 years and not much has changed. So, aside from lights, headrests, that sort of thing, you're virtually gonna get the same system. On all the entry-level Caldera Hot Springs, you're gonna get an inline heater and you're gonna get your 2 jet pumps. Now they do have some 115-volt plug-and-play options, and those will only have the 1 jet pump. The control packs are identical. You actually see the USB port here, so you can upgrade your system with new software. There's a tech button right here, which allows you to change over the soft jumper settings. And when I say soft jumper settings, control pack is the same. You can change it between heating. You can change the amperage. If it's a 115 model, you can turn the heater off. You can go through and configure it for whatever you have. So if you were to ever buy one of these and the motherboard went bad, you're gonna buy the same pack. You just have to know how to program it. Everything looks pretty good on this spa. We just got this spa and I just turned it on. We cleaned it up. Let's go ahead and get into what it looks like. I've got 2 brand new headrests for it. The other 2 are gonna be on order. Here's some things I really like about this spa. First and foremost, this spa is not a spray foam hot tub. Hot Springs and Watkins Manufacturing, they're getting away from the yellow spray foam. And what they do instead is they actually put the siding on the spa and they spray it full of cotton. And so with the cotton, 2 things. Number one, if you ever have to work on a piece of plumbing, it makes it really, really easy because it doesn't cake onto the plumbing. You can typically fix and repair it really, really fast. So I like that. The downside to it is that when you pull it out, it makes a freaking mess. You will get cotton everywhere. We go through, part of our process of refurbishing the spa is we go through and we repaint everything nice flat black, just how Hot Springs does it, or Caldera, or Watkins, just so we can see everything. So if there's a leak, or once we sell this off to another customer, we can go through and ensure that everything looks good and runs good. We just turned this hot tub on, so let's see here. We are registering at 53 degrees. Power is on. Any Watkins Spa, Hot Springs, Caldera that you have is going to have a power and a ready light. The ready light's going to end up over here. But solid power is really good. If that ever flashes, it indicates that there's an issue. Sometimes this is in the light or in the view of a light on the front of the spa. But for right now, this is our indication. This little flashing star looking icon are the lights. So that's what you see right here. These spas, these entry-level Hot Springs Calderas, they have a 10-minute delay before their heater will kick on. Okay, so kind of like when you're rebooting a system or a computer and it's just kind of trying to reload and figure out temperature and acclimate, That's what's gonna happen here. So the heater is actually, although we have it set for, typically set these for 102, it's not gonna call for heat until 10 minutes. And then at that point, the heater will kick on low speed. I'm gonna bypass it and just go ahead and turn it on right now. Very easy system to use and run. Probably doesn't get easier than this. Super strong pump, super strong jets. There's a waterfall on the side of the spa that you can see. You can toggle off and on, and that's gonna be through pump 1. Now pump 1 is going to be a dual speed pump, which means it has a low speed and a high speed. Low speed is typically for a heating mode. So you can run this pump will run automatically to filter the spa, but also to heat the hot tub. When you want to use it from a jet perspective, you'll press it again to get into the high mode, and then you're going to get your strong jets. Now, as you can see on the control system, we've got the jet icon that told us that our jets are on. We've got the yin yang arrows, which means that the heater is on. So spa is now heating. We've got the flashing star, which means our light's on, and then F1 for filtration 1. One of the things that I can't say that I love about this spa is there's only one jet button. And so on these hot tubs, in order to get into jet 2, you have to keep pressing, right? So we'll press it again. That's our jet pump 1. And then when you press it that third time, you're gonna have both pumps on high speed. Now that's not really a make it or break it for me. Overall, I think this is a great spa. I love the spa, so I'm not gonna complain about that too much. However, I can see if you wanted to toggle through and just have pump 2 on, maybe that's your side that you want to sit on, it could be a little bit frustrating. Waterfall is off on right here. I really like that you can turn the waterfall off and on. Most of the time that's the case. I will tell you there are a few brands out there that you cannot do it with. It turns on automatically and it'll run, some of them run on a separate circulation pump. This system doesn't have it. And then when the spa is up to temperature, you can't turn your waterfall on. So I like that. It's a simple ball valve system, but you can control the level of water that you get out of it, which is nice. Very strong jets, I will say. Again, for an entry-level spa, you see some of these brands will come out and have pretty weak entry-level spas. You know, they'll overload the hot tub with more jets, or they'll put in inferior pumps. Pump action on this is really, really nice. The other thing that you're gonna see is there's no water diverter. I'll get into that on other videos, but a water diverter is basically a 3-way gate valve that's going to allow you to manipulate water pressure from one seat to another. In this spa, you get what you get. They do have an air manifold, so if we turn our air manifold off, you can see you can decrease or increase jet pressure just by turning the air manifold off. Most hot tubs are gonna have an air manifold. Air manifold is gonna run around the top of the hot tub, allow air in for a stronger jet, and close air off for a weaker jet. Let me go ahead and turn these off. I'm sure pump 1 is going to kick on low speed because it's probably been about 10 minutes. I like the siding. I like the pressure treated frame. Good thing about Watkins Manufacturing, at least on their middle and entry level spas, is they do the double fiberglass reinforcement. You can see that is a fiberglass reinforced shell, and I really appreciate that. On some of their higher end hot tubs, I don't think Caldera does this, but on the High Life series, they use another system. I think it's called Acrylabond, and it's not quite as strong as fiberglass. So overall, these are really strong, durable hot tubs. Don't have too much to worry about on that front. One thing that I can't say I'm in love with on these hot tubs is, and again, doesn't make a huge difference to me, but we do get this question a lot, as people always say, what is this right here? Why does it look open? Well, that is your filter intake. So that's where your spa is gonna filter. But also, when you turn your jets on, it's gonna pull in a lot of water, a lot of volume. It's gonna cycle a lot of water. So it's a good thing, it moves a lot of water through there. It's gonna help you maintain and clean your spa. But it would be nice if there was some sort of covering for it. I know we get a lot of questions about that. A lot of times people don't want to look directly in there and see their filter. These companies just started doing these Frogger systems. Well, I guess they shouldn't say just, but in the last 10 years or so, they started adding these Frogger systems to it. Very gimmicky in my opinion. I can't find anybody that I've met in the industry that says that this is the end all be all. What it is it's a preloadable cartridge. So whether you're doing your chlorine or your bromine, you can load cartridges in here. and the idea is that it's supposed to kind of automatically do chemicals for you. Whether that's true or not, I won't really get into, but the one thing I don't like about it is that these cartridges are very expensive, and if you do decide to use this, you're going to use their cartridges. Now, you can absolutely just add regular chemicals to the spa. There's no issues there at all. From a homeowner's perspective, I would say this is a relatively efficient hot tub. It's got great jets. The lights are awesome, especially at night. From a tech perspective, I'll tell you some of the things that we see are really common with this spa is the lights. Now, funny enough, all the lights on this hot tub are working perfectly for us. Watkins Manufacturing, along with a lot of other brands, they use a brand of LED lights called Sloan LED, and they're decent. But what happens on these hot tubs, a lot of times these clear little light lenses, let me see if you can, there you go, you can kind of see it. They'll crack, water can penetrate them, and not as much as a leak, but what will happen is over time is those LEDs will start to short out. So you'll get one LED that's a different color, you know, some of them don't work. Now, I'll say they're relatively pretty easy to replace. So I think for they call them a quad strand, 4 LEDs, you're looking probably, I don't know, right around 50, 60 bucks. I think there's 12 of them in here. So typically you can make all the lights work again or cycle new for less than 200 bucks. You probably want to replace the light lenses at that point. Not the easiest thing in the world to do. You do have to take the siding off. You got to dig through that cotton insulation like I was mentioning, and you have to really reach your hand in there and get pretty deep in there to swap them out. But they've got nice cascading effect here. It looks really, really good, and I'm pleased with the lighting. All right, let's look at the controls here. I believe that these are 4 kilowatt heaters. Last time I checked, they are Balboa heaters. Having a hard, yep, 4 kilowatt heaters. 4 kilowatt heaters, you can probably expect a 15 minutes a degree for 220, so 4 degrees an hour for it to get hot the first time. It's probably about 10 hours for you to heat all the way up. Let's go here into our mode. So first thing we do, we go to mode. Your plus button is going to be your activation button. That's system on. That's just gonna turn all your features on. Okay, likewise, if I turn it off, it's gonna turn everything off. Okay, so if that's what you want everything on, you can absolutely do that. Clean is going to run a 15-minute time jet button. So this will actually turn itself off automatically. This is a kind of a nice feature if you want to add chemicals to the spa and you don't want to set a timer. You can throw in your shock, throw in your clarifier, your alkalinity, just by pressing that. Okay, plus is on, minus is off, right? So we'll continue to go through mode. Here we have our tools button. That is temperature lock. I've never personally needed to use that, but let's say somebody messes with your temperature, you live with kids that mess with it. This way you can cycle your temperature lock on and nobody's changing that temperature on you. Spa lock is going to make the entire spa locked, so they're not going to be able to use any of the features like the lights or the jets. Light button. This is an important one. Notice I'm at dim 0, dim 1, dim 2, and dim 3, and you can kind of see them getting brighter and brighter. So you can have mood lighting, you can set your preference of how light you want it to be. Color allows you to isolate one specific color. And then I turned it on to loop 3, so this is important. A lot of times we get these hot tubs and they're in loop 0. At loop 0, your lights are not gonna rotate. So I think we've actually bought these spas before where people didn't realize they had multicolor lights. And then at loop 3, of course, you're gonna get the cascading. Loop 1 and 2, it's gonna move a little bit slower. And then exit. Economy is going to allow your spa to heat during set filtration modes. I don't ever really recommend that for people here in California. Now, high desert in Arizona, I understand because it gets 120 degrees out, your spa can overheat. Makes sense, but these spas are pretty efficient as is. And then filter 1, filter 2, you have your ability to go through and program different filtration modes. Now, this was important. LCD is talking about the topside display. So when I got this spa, here we go. When I got this spa, it was on LCD 1. It was kind of hard to see with the lights on, but you can make the screen brighter. just like so. And then we're back. Okay, exit plus, here we are, we're back. Relatively easy spa to use. I've never rated a spa on a 1 through 10 system, but I guess if I had to rate this spa, yeah, I'd probably say it's a 7. I mean, it's a pretty good hot tub. These spas typically last a really long time. I think that they're really serviceable. They're really easy to work on. Now, I have had spas just like this in the past where we've had to get to pumps. And I'll say the pumps can be a little bit tricky to get to. In some situations, we'll actually cut those wood framings out and then reapply them. You can take the control pack out relatively easy and remove the pumps that way. But from a service perspective, these spas are pretty easy to work on. The parts are pretty inexpensive. It's got good jet flow. It's got the lights. It's got the waterfall. It's got pretty much everything you'd want. So if you're looking at buying a hot tub and you don't want to break the bank, you want something more on the entry-level side, this is a great option for you, and I would absolutely recommend it. Now, some of the things that would probably make the spa better, which is what they do on their middle and high-end series, is adding an energy-efficient circulation pump. Gonna help with filtration, gonna help with noise, gonna help with water clarity. I'm a big proponent of that. Of course, with water diverters, you get a little bit more versatility in the actual jet pressure. And other than that, I think it's a good hot tub. This is my opinion. My name is Chris. Again, I own NorCal Spas. This is Hot Tub Repair and Review. We do a lot of repair videos. We do a lot of review videos. And let us know if you have any feedback. Let us know if you have one of these spas. Let us know if you think we hit the nail on the head or we missed the mark. We appreciate your business. We appreciate your views, and we appreciate your likes. Thank you so much.